say 3.5 because one time he was turned away. Judge Tomlinson did nothing. My son left a 14-year-old son who has for years wanted to ask Judge Tomlinson if he had made the order to have my son put in a hospital, if he had upheld his own court order, would my son be alive today? We will never know because we never had that opportunity, because in my opinion, the man has lost his ability to do his job. I have not spoken publicly about my son's case in 4 years. Watching Kevin's story and seeing what he's going through in that man's courtroom is pathetic. This is a child that is at danger, and when you hear a judge say, well, yeah, if he molests her, we'll do something about it then.
Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you? But this is a pattern, and just like you, I beg anybody out there that wants to talk about all of the bad things Kevin is or has done, which he is very honest and forthright about and has answered any of our questions, sit in that courtroom, watch cases like my son's, who could possibly have resulted in a different manner and didn't. As a mental health court judge, why is Judge Tomlinson not recognizing the fact that being separated from a parent causes a child trauma, which can lead to brain disease? It can lead to mental health issues.
Yep.
He's the family court judge. He's the mental health court judge, but he's not paying attention to any of this.
No.
If he's so worried about Kevin's behavior with his daughter, give him supervised visitation rights.
He's not,
But
well, that's never been a concern.
You're looking at a child who is now going to be a second generation in front of a judge who
Right.
has long since should have recused himself from this case, but term limits, get him off the bench. He doesn't belong there. He doesn't belong
Twenty-something
there.
years is apparently way too long.
Then plural,
Way
get
too
them
long.
off the bitch.
Yeah.
So many, and
It's
I'm
a systemic problem in St. Clair County, what's going on here. And it's at every, it's not
But
just,
people aren't aware. People
They
aren't aware
tell you-
because we
Yes.
assume our judicial system, I was so naive that I really did believe, oh, my son's gonna get help.
yep,
Judge Tomlinson came in and ordered my son to be helped.
Yep.
And never followed up, never took concern, never took my calls. I'm the petitioner, would not take my phone calls. My son, I found on his front room floor, dead from a massive heart attack. What would have been the outcome had he done his job? Yet here he is creating a secondary situation, not only by putting your granddaughter in harm's way, how many other families is he affecting? But as a mental health judge, why is he not aware of the fact that this trauma can now lead to mental health
health
illness
issues.
in your in your granddaughter a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now?
No.
He separates families when he should be helping bring them together. And people are not aware of what is happening in these courtrooms. When I was at Kevin's hearing the other day, listening to a judge who is there on a PPO issued over a Facebook post, yet she appeared to have no knowledge of how to use Facebook. You're on Facebook, you have a Facebook page, but you have no knowledge of how to use it?
And
How is that
active
possible?
Facebook. She has an active Facebook.
And you're putting down a judgment on a case that results from a Facebook post. So I look at some of the things, Jerry and I being acquainted, her son was very kind to my son. We have a connection that way. My son knew Jerry from her business. He'd go in and get coats for homeless, take them to people out on the streets. Jerry helped him out on numerous occasions, and her son was very kind to my son just before he passed. A year later, I found out Jerry's son had indeed passed as well, and I reached out to her, and we became friends. Some of the things I post on her Facebook page, I should have, go get the PPO, Jerry, go get the PPO, because
Truly.
I'm sorry, the things that are posted, and I'm listening to Judge Lane, hopeful, I'm hopeful. Like, somebody's gonna step up and do something, and here is a judge ruling on a case in front of her involving Facebook, and she has to ask a question with, well, how do you work that page? Really?
Yeah.
Serious.
Right, because, you're right, because.
Education, people, why is Judge Tomlinson not educated in mental health when he is our mental health court judge? Why is Judge Lane not educated in Facebook when she's looking at a trial, a PPO order about Facebook? So we have a lack of education from the people that we're entrusting our children to.
Especially, this is, I would like to know how he got in that position, and what is the criteria you have to meet to be a mental health
I'm
court
told that he
judge?
did work in mental health at some
I
time.
heard he was a social
Which
worker, I did
Really sums
hear
up
that.
how the mental health system works, okay? This kind of sums that up right now, doesn't it?
Mhm.
You know?
Oh, yes, and you're seeing this, St. Clair County, they're the oversight of they are overseeing
Government entity.
themselves.
They are, and it's,
And that is the problem, because it has gotten, the issues have become so systemic, they spilled over into every entity. And so there's nowhere to go for healthcare, you understand?
There isn't.
There's nowhere
There
to
isn't.
go for help. That you are cut off at the knees if you reach out for help and ask questions.
but
They
again, bringing,
cut off your access to them. In Kevin's case, they literally cut off
Yes.
access to everybody that was supposed to be there to help with the situation when Judge Tomlinson won.
well, and understand, when my son had reached out for help, and he's going to where they assigned him to go to, and would walk in and have people go, hey, where's your news crew rock star? You're talking to a man who is borderlining psychosis. You're talking about a man who has bipolar schizophrenia disorder. And you're causing paranoia in that man. And yet, you're telling me you're treating him. And of course, I would call the courts, and we can't really talk to you about that. I would be cut off at the knees because his staff was so rude to me.
Yes,
But
that
then
they
it
are.
was, well, you're always so rude when you call here. Yeah, because you're not doing it.
My
I've
God,
called-
it's your son.
I've called, my daughter's
you're
called,
reaching out for
my,
help.
my daughter-in-law has called, his girlfriend has called, and you guys have done nothing. And people are not aware of that. I wouldn't be sitting here today, quite honestly, if it was watching some of the Facebook posts, watching some people's attitude towards Kevin. Why? Have you seen a court case? Have you been there? Well, I heard there's more to this story. Then come and see what more there is. Come and see what's happening, and then go and elect your officials like you're saying. How many years has Judge Tomlinson run unopposed? Why? Are people afraid to run up against him? Because I don't know of very many people that would go vote for him if you really.
If there was somebody else to vote for.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm. I
But
do
then
believe
what are
that.
your choices?
I do believe that, and I will tell you something else, I'm not sure, because I have heard, things have been said that if you run against him, you're gonna run into a lot of backlash, okay, and I've heard that from people, whether it's true or not, I don't know, I've never ran against Judge Tomlinson. But the second thing is who the hell wants his job, really? Because to sign up for that job at this point, you have to play that game with them people and do those things and harm children and destroy children and families on a daily basis, so
But it shouldn't
I'm not
have to
really
be that
sure.
way. It
No,
shouldn't have to
it's
be
not
that way.
supposed to be,
And
but
the only way that
he
it's-
was given they were all given the power to do this. And like Gloria said, honestly, until you are forced into this arena, you would never imagine in your
No.
wildest nightmares that this stuff is happening.
I thought I was going to get help for my son.
Yeah.
I thought when my son asked me to petition him, and one of the things that I vividly remember is when my son did this to get the AOT passed here in St. Clair County, my son's words to me were, this is never gonna help me, but it might help somebody else. I have had friends of mine call over to Community Mental Health and ask about Kevin's Law, and nobody could tell them anything. 4 years later, I have not heard of one other case here in St. Clair County.
Wow.
Now, this is a law that's being successfully used And I will encourage anybody, and it is posted on the Justice for Oakley page. There is a video, which was the interview that my son and I did after, it ran after he passed, of the WXYZ Ross Jones report, where there is a letter that is shown on camera, that states Community Mental Health did reach out to Judge Tomlinson, took him a week to read the letter, and he did nothing, in my opinion. He did nothing. There's some other things that are in that report, and it just makes you stand there and go, really? Because, again, I went in there thinking, these are people that are gonna help us.
That's why they're there.
The awareness that you guys are creating is bringing forth so many more people that are not being helped, that are not getting the help they need. But also it's creating the awareness of people going, this is what's happening. This
Yeah.
is what's going
Right.
on.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry's case, why is she being separated from her granddaughter? Judge Tomlinson had the power to change that, grandson, I'm so sorry. You had the power to change that and didn't. There are no grandparent laws here.
So, today, I wanted to do something if I could do, which is slightly different. Initially, when we started this particular engagement, we wanted to definitely get justice, and we wanted to highlight the offenders in this issue. I think we have people that are coming through, and I think it's time that we, I put up a post said highlighting the St. Clair County corruption, and there are characters that need to be highlighted. So Judge Tomlinson, he's our character for today. If you could tell me, those of you that are in a part of this room, off stage, on stage, what specifically have you seen that has disqualified him from operating, or you think serving at the best for his county? For an example, one thing I've heard constantly, that does he witness from the bench? Does he make statements that he's not supposed to? Because when I looked at there's a judicial handbook for all judges, and I watched the language very carefully. It really gives them the autonomy to do whatever. It said they're likely to do this, they should do this, they're supposed to operate. There is nothing definitive. And it is very rare to remove a judge. However, Michigan always leads, having 3 judges removed and 2 being forced to retire. And this report came out just 5 years ago. So I'm saying that to simply say, what specifically have we found that Judge Tomlinson has done that would disqualify him from his role as a judge?
I'm gonna give one.
Go.
Okay. And you can all tell me what you think, because I know what he did. Okay, so in my hearing, where I was forced to go into a hearing with the man in the woods because he filed for a PPO ex parte against me, and Judge Tomlinson decided that that'd be a good idea to bring my granddaughter's Nona in to have a hearing with this man that we're trying to protect her from. That was a good idea. Okay, so in that hearing, it was brought up, he stated that CPS did an investigation and saw no issues. And I said to him in that moment that you have 3 reports. You have 3 reports telling you that she is to have 0 contact with him. And he asked me, well, where are those reports? Okay, 18 months ago, CPS gave you the report. You have the reports. But he literally, so in the report, CPS issued a duty to warn and clearly stated Oakley is to have no contact with Mr. Whitcomb, right in the CPS report. Okay, so with that being said, when Judge Tomlinson makes a statement and says CPS did an investigation and they saw no issue, that's a lie. Is that not a lie? Because to me, that's a lie. That is flat out lie. And then you revisited it later on and stated again that there was no issue. And that you didn't agree with, you didn't think that my version of events was accurate. Okay, they're very accurate, and if you were willing to hear them, you would know. Instead, you thought it was a good idea to make me sit with this man and have a hearing. I guess the only thing, I'm not even grateful that you didn't issue the PPO, because I don't care either way. You understand that this man is still in the woods, and the story gets worse, and I honestly think that you have a lot more information in this situation than you are, pretending you have. I think you
Well, as
are well
mandate
aware.
reporters, if I can ask you this question, as mandate reporters, this is a pedophile who is non-compliant. Judge Tomlinson is a mandated.
No, he's not, judges are not, no,
Okay,
judges
that's
are
what
not
that's my
mandated reporters.
question.
But I will tell you that at one point, when this whole issue came up, Judge Tomlinson sat on that bench, it's in the transcripts, he said, why has nobody called and filed a 3200? In that hearing, he stated that he was going to file a 3200. We waited a week for him to do that, he never did that. It is in the Register of Actions that he was going to do that, he never did that. Then, once again, Oakley talked about her contact with Larry, and somebody else filed the 3200. And that's when the case was opened and the report was issued. And so, again.
Once again, not doing his job.
Once again, I mean, this had an easy resolve, and here we are, so.
So I guess the top issue with Judge Tomlinson would be his lack of doing his job.
So let me ask this question then. So there was a PPO against yourself, right?
The man in the woods?
Yeah.
Filed for a PPO against me, because I will tell you why. He granted Kevin, the man in the woods against Kevin, and simply Kevin just went on, the page and talked about, he just really informed the public that, just so everyone knows, there is a man living in a dirt floor shack off the Avoca Trail, and to make people aware, no names, no address, nothing.
That's it, okay.
And he was issued a
A
PPO, for Larry, ex parte.
And this is the reason why I'm asking that, because I looked it up and I wanted to see the grounds for one. So if you get a PPO, normally you get one to stop the petitioner through any means of contacting. You don't want to be contacted by a petitioner, but if there's no name, how the heck can you do that? Number two, entering the residence. So I guess Kevin can enter the woods now. Assaulting, attacking, beating or wounding. Was there any threats of that?
No, nothing.
Okay.
No.
Harassing, stalking, and threatening. Again, there was no name, so that couldn't happen. So removing any minor children from where they live. Interfering with their efforts to remove children or property, or purchasing or possessing a firearm. Those are the common reasons for getting one granted.
No, not here in St. Clair County.
Which
No,
is
you
a
just-
big question.
You just have to be upset that, the public was made aware of a situation that puts a lot of people at risk. And I followed up with my own post on that, and he went and filed one against me. And Tomlinson, really, that could have just been denied, just like several people that actually needed them were denied on a daily basis. And he made me come into that hearing. And I will tell you this too, when you, read the testimony from the hearing, the 2.5-hour hearing that Kevin had to sit through with this man, it was a motion to terminate the PPO. And it lasted 2.5 hours, listening to this man's testimony, in regards to a lot of things. And my belief is, even when Judge Tomlinson sat and heard the things that man said, at that moment, he probably should have immediately filed a 3200, and he did not. And this crusade to protect this man or this family or themselves, at this point, I think it's probably all of the above, and it's horrifying, because this story, there are so many other details to this story. And it's all coming, it's all going to be out there, and if you don't think you look bad enough now, it gets worse. And now, I'm sure most people are aware of the letter that this man wrote, and I'm telling you, this is went from bad to worse to horrifying, and somebody needs to come in from the outside
And
and
yet
shut
the
this
judicial
down.
system is still
And-
protecting the pedophile.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what we're,
And the family that has him.
So let's protect him
Mhm.
Instead
from
of thinking
people who
about
have
the children.
not attempted to do anything to him other
Nothing.
than uphold the law that Judge Tomlin should be, in my opinion, upholding himself.
and that's the reason why we are reaching out. We had a young lady here just comment, she said, I wish I could talk about my case, I could show how he doesn't do anything, and then she says this, I am not safe if I say anything about mine.
And how sad
And that
is
fear
How
is
sad,
instilled in
yeah.
everybody.
How
Do you
sad is
understand?
that?
Yeah.
Do you understand that literally they paralyzed my family for over 3 years with fear? And then one day you wake up and you say, you know what? We're done.
We're done with
No,
this.
You don't get to do this. You do not get to do this. And they are doing it. Fear. This whole court system is based on fear.
Yes,
This
it
whole
is.
county is using fear
Yep.
to scare people, to take children, to destroy children, and destroy families
Yeah.
every day. And I'm telling you, that is the absolute truth.
You know,
And again, bringing awareness to it, I'm seeing more and more people like this woman coming forward and saying, this is what happened, this is what's going on, but I'm afraid to talk about it. Why should you be afraid to talk about something that is public information anyway? I can go and I can look up anything I want on your case, so why are you afraid to talk about it? Well, you're afraid to talk about it because you have to go into this judge's courtroom and pray that he is going to keep you safe.
And he's also going to tell you, if you do talk about it, I'm going to either take your child or put you in jail.
that's it.
And I mean,
So that's the bottom line.
in my
Yes.
case, could he have saved my son's life? Maybe not, but that's something we will never know,
No.
because, again, in my opinion, this man did not do his job and has never cared about the outcome. Has never cared about the outcome. You know, if you listen to the interview that Ross Jones did with one of the people that wrote Kevin's Law, one of the first things he said was, could this man have been saved? I believe there was a great possibility had the judge intervened. What, did he not understand what his job was? Could have asked. Does he not believe in hearing us, the people that are involved in these cases, these, are you not listening to what we have to say, or you really just simply don't care?
He said that he shared our concerns.
Yeah, well, he
But
said-
but going on social media was not going to get my son and myself the result we're looking for, which was to keep my granddaughter safe. Really? Really?
But it's bringing enough awareness
We left
that-
it up to you, and you chose not to. You continued to choose not to. So I'm not really sure, and where you cut off everyone's access to where they went for help, I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. Did you think we were gonna go away? Did you think we were gonna leave, this little girl in this position? And not only her, the general public that's out there, because this isn't just like some remote place out in the woods. It's a public bike trail and a campground. So no, did you think that we were going to just let it go?
And if it's my son, your son and granddaughter,
All
her
these
grandson, her, how many others are there that these people are not being serviced by the people that we elect to service us?
I'll show you my inbox.
And
give you
again,
an idea.
oh my, and
Right.
you and I have talked about this, the only reason that I keep my son's Facebook page up is because of the daily emails that I get asking, I couldn't help my own son. How do I help someone else? But these people are so desperate
Yep.
that they will reach out to me in an attempt to have me help them. I can't, my hands are tied by the same judicial system that is preventing you from getting your loved one's help.
Until we
shouldn't be
use
that way.
until we,
Your
Use our
case,
voice.
and you and Kevin and your Facebook posts have brought so much awareness to so many people. People are paying attention. Again, you know, come on out Thursday to this rally, be present, talk to all of us, let us know what's going on. There is power in numbers, and there is nothing but fear and ignorance by silence.
Absolutely.
Yes.
yeah,
Bring yourself
Absolutely.
forward, come out in the numbers, stop these people from harming our families.
Yep.
stop them from
Please.
coming here.
And that's why,
Please.
and that's why today,
I'm begging you.
we'll be having our meeting with the FBI to see how much more attention we can bring to push. And I'll do my best to even see if we can get one of those precious agents to join us on the rally on Thursday.
Right.
And so we can show them what we need, and also see if we can get some other people from the Attorney General's office to be here and make them tell all these people, you're crazy.
And isn't it
Yeah.
interesting that our local papers, you
Right,
know, the ones that deliver the news to us as residents won't cover any of these cases.
No.
they've been
Yeah.
contacted from day one on this,
And won't cover them.
and still are being contacted,
Yes.
and still are being contacted.
Albert Martin, I don't know, I posted that like a month ago. The story about 1832 Albert Martin from Port Huron was dragged out of jail. In front of the whole city and hung off the 16th bridge.
Yeah,
I covered that, and the thing about it was, Times Herald, they wouldn't grasp it. Who had to grasp it was the Detroit Free Press.
absolutely.
They printed that.
Right.
The Times Herald would not touch that at all, and I thought that was important as far as history-wise, as far as the kids being in school, you know, okay, you got, Port Huron as being one of the Underground Railroad systems. And they used it to come through here to go to Canada, you know, and I just felt like that, why didn't the Times Herald cover that? You know, this man was from Port Huron, he was murdered in Port Huron.
That's,
Why did it take the Detroit?
it's state media.
Mhm.
Well, no,
State media.
no, this is the exact words that I keep hearing out here, and, people don't crap in their own backyard. And that's all I've heard about this entire system up here, is people won't crap in their own backyard. And then, if I hear one more time that this is a game, that you just gotta play the game,
Yeah, play the game.
play the game,
Be
what the hell does
quiet.
that mean?
The children suffer.
I mean,
Yeah.
play the game, I'm not playing that game, you wanna play that game because that's where how you
Right.
feed your family and enjoy your social status or life, I'm not playing that game, these are kids,
Right.
these are people, these are families, and we have a right to be happy, safe, and protected in our community,
Absolutely.
and we are none of the above.
None of you.
I promise you, we are none of the above, and especially, since this is coming to light, trust me, they are all doing some crazy stuff,
Behind us.
and it's not safe.
Well, there are some things that are happening. I've enjoyed the attention that I've gotten privately of the threats and those type of things.
Oh, yeah.
And
Join
I've
the club.
but it's interesting though. I've never gone to so many public places where people who know me said, "Hey, be safe,"
Yeah.
you know. And
Mhm.
but the beauty is, if you're not willing to die for something, it's not worth living.
Yeah.
And this is important enough. Our children, what we did in service, we prayed for every child, and we said, using the example of Oakley, we said, if you heard, now we had a whole bunch of colored people out there. If you even heard something like that, I saw most folk going for their pistols and all that at that moment, getting mad at that particular instance, because if there's not a person in the system, be it federal, be it international, that's going to do something about it, then you're going to make the grassroots rise up. That's what's going to happen. One day, the system won't even be an option, and
Yes.
people are going to respond. People are going to do what's necessary, and that's why it's important for us. Let me use that judicial language. It's important for us to try and attempt the system, and if the system doesn't work, then we have to encourage the system that they need to expand their concerns. Because if they don't expand their concerns, then the people will no longer trust the system working.
Exactly.
And then people will take justice and consider different ways in
There's
which
just no one there
to
for us.
engage.
You can't-
So,
right.
so if you all would just, we have a few minutes left, you guys would begin to talk about the importance of being at the rally and why we should move forward.
Numbers talk.
Yep.
You know, if you're afraid
Yep.
to come forward about your situation in these courts, bring it to the people that are going to be able to stand with you. Bring it to you, somebody that can, let somebody remain anonymous, but have maybe some of
Absolutely.
their facts known. There is power in numbers.
Very much so.
Yep.
Indeed, indeed. Anything else? I know that we're gonna have forms there for you to file complaints officially. We're gonna do our best to have outside agencies, law enforcement, those people that can be here that aren't from here, that are willing to stand with us, and also get any elected officials that aren't in here or part of this system that are willing to stand with us. So we're gonna do our best to galvanize all of that. And our goal, what's our goal from this rally? When it's all said and done, what do we want to see done?
Free the children,
Free the children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Help them, be a voice for them.
free the children.
And so please, guys, if you have any other stories, continue to inbox us, and we'll be meeting with you, doing all we can. Again, if you want to be a part of any of these investigations that we are attempting to get started, inbox us, let us know. Jamie, anything you want to share with the people before we get out of here?
And for all of you afraid or wondering, if you have a story, I wanna reach out to the people watching this also. If you have been, by any of the local attorneys, if you have been asked to,
Perjure yourself.
perjure yourself, or they have perjured themselves, or asked to do unethical things to sway your case, you need to come out and share those stories and file those complaints, and we will help you do that too. We have the paperwork to do that too. And remember, you have to be able to prove what it is you were saying. So I know transcripts are expensive and stuff like that, so, we can lead everyone in the right direction to make these complaints against the people that are doing these things. So that is probably going to be, a lot of people are probably going to have those same stories. And please, just, even if it's just to come out and share them, come out and share them.
And for those that are doubtful about that this is really happening in the courtrooms in St. Clair County, don't attend Kevin's hearing, attend
Right.
another hearing.
Yes.
Look into the facts,
Mhm.
dig a little bit deeper, question what is going on in these agencies, because you will be shocked. I never thought it would be me. I never thought it would be me, yet there I was. And what I've learned since my son's passing about what is happening out there makes me sick to my
Yes.
stomach.
Literally.
Yes.
Indeed. Amy, you had something?
I just, it's been 8 months for me, and we're still waiting for a court hearing, but they can send letters out for a month of child support missing and put them in front of Judge Brown. It's only been in front of Judge Brown one time. It's all been in front of the magistrate, and they took in his word. Five different parenting time orders in a year. She started out with not wanting my son there, and then I was ordered to go and do the exchange. I'm here to represent my son because he can't say, because in a court of law, it's hearsay. I've gotta say it for him, because I was there.
Wow. Well, listen, guys, I'm grateful for those of you that joined us today. I pray that God would bless you, meet every need in your life. And please, if you have any questions, inbox us, let us know. But make sure you are there tomorrow at,
9:15
9:15.
in Judge Tomlinson's courtroom.
all right, that's in St. Clair County, Port Huron, Michigan. And then again, we want to see you Thursday.
Yes, we do.
Thursday,
Everybody.
7 p.m.
Come on out.
Make sure you're here. And then please watch for my live tonight. I'm going to do a short documentary on the life of Judge Tomlinson, the things you don't know. Enjoy, be blessed, and we'll see you later.
Can't wait till we do Brown.
I tell you what, I'll
Are
be
we
out.
out?
I just told you, we
Oh,
gotta go,
boy.
we gotta go in front of him tomorrow. That ought to be a treat.
Stories.
Okay, did
All right,
I
but-
say how
Stories.
community
Yeah.
mental